Hey everyone, it's Sensei Victoria Whitfield here, your journey partner in business, welcoming you back to episode 66 of the Journeypreneur Podcast. This is your source for channeled holistic stress management techniques, guidance, inspiration, and motivation to stay on your path to rapid financial ascension and massive impact as a conscious entrepreneur. The title of this podcast episode is Work Soft and Run It Like a Ninja. Okay, so I have been thinking about my exercise routine recently, and it got me also thinking about you. So let me tell you a story. My routine recently is getting up and walking first thing in the morning, just breathing in the fresh morning dew, getting my body moving, the blood pumping in my head, and my body clears. It feels so good. To get outside first thing and just to connect, right? To connect and ground. But I think back years ago, and there used to be a time when I couldn't run. I have this interesting condition in my body called fitness-induced urticaria, which means when I would start running, like my body would break out of these horrible internal hives. And that would really, like that painful burning feeling all over, especially around my joints, sensation, it would really discourage me from wanting to do impact-based exercise. And I really love running. Like, it's a lot of fun. And I love going out and running outside or running on the treadmill or whatever, but just the painful feeling was really discouraging for me to feel. So I couldn't run. I would avoid it at all times. And at the time, I was seeing this incredible intuitive healer. And he was helping me work through different issues that I had, such as I also had TMJ. So he helped me process through that. And we were talking about this experience that I would have when running. And he had a connection at the local running store where you buy like awesome sneakers and the inserts for your shoes and all the stuff for runners. He's like, okay, meet me there. We're going to do an assessment on you. Let's see how you run. So we went there. I had so much anxiety. I was like, oh man, I do not want to do this. This is really going to hurt, right? I was like expecting so much pain. And the day comes, I strap on my shoes, get on the treadmill there in the store, by the way. So it's all open where everyone can see you. It's super embarrassing, but whatever. So but my intuitive healer, he's like happy-go-lucky. He's like, all right, let's do this. So they turn on the treadmill and I start running. And all right, I'm doing my best. Turn it up. And then he turns it down. And he says, I'm running wrong. And I had no idea. And the phrase that he told me next completely changed my life. It changed my relationship with how I move in general. Changed my relationship with running. I was able to start running afterward because of this. One thing that he said, but now also years and years later, I've applied this mindset to how I approach my business and this, like, how I think about running business and my business lifestyle in general. And this is what he said to me. He's like, you're running wrong. Run like a ninja. And I'm like, what? He's like, run like a ninja. When you're running, and by the way, shout out to Patrick LaRouge, who has the Live Pain-Free process. I think that's his .com. So go and check him out. He's absolutely fantastic. This is the guy that I'm talking about here. He said, when you're running, Victoria, your heels are like slapping on the ground. You are just freaking pounding the pavement. I want you to try instead to run like a ninja. Run like a ninja. Have you ever seen, and he and I geek out all the time on like Dragon Ball Z and Kung Fu movies and stuff, and he's like, you ever seen like how the shinobi move? How you will never hear them coming. Even though they may have been running at top speed, you will never hear where they're moving to. You never hear them coming. And if you think about it, all specialized like warriors, such as, think Black Ops and all of that, the way that they move is softly. It doesn't mean that they are soft, as like a thinking of being soft or moving softly as like a sense of weakness, but I mean soft and silent movement, like say a Black Panther moving in the trees, creeping up on its prey. Little antelope or whatever is hanging out, chewing on some stuff, and before they know it, pow! That panther came out of nowhere because it was moving like a ninja. The ninja, the shinobi, they mirror that. Or the Black Ops warriors and all of that, they're able to move softly because there's so much more mindfulness and control. There's an economy of motion. There's a presence in the body as opposed to outside the body, say focused only on the goal. But no, there's the mental and emotional presence that they have in their bodies gives them the ability to run softly. They run it softly. And the minute that I started trying running again on that treadmill, running like a ninja, at first it was a little bit, disorienting and kind of uncomfortable, like, how am I going to run softly? I don't understand. And then, you get used to it. You start using muscles and parts of your body. Well, I'll put it on me. I started using muscles and parts of my body I wasn't paying attention to previously. And more and more started turning on. Now, at first, I would get a little bit more exhausted faster because I was using, parts of my body that I wasn't used to. Once I did, I didn't have that painful response to running anymore. I didn't have the urticaria. The urticaria came from me like bang, bang, banging on the ground every time I was trying to run. But if I'm running smooth and silently, the level of impact, is much smaller because I'm making as few sounds as possible with the way that I'm moving my body, and I'm using more of my body, I'm turning on more of my muscles to move elegantly as a runner, And in order to move elegantly or to run it like a ninja, you've got to be focused on how can I quiet things down. And so how that originally changed my life, that bit of awesome wisdom from my intuitive healer, Patrick, was me being able to run finally for the first time. I was so happy for that. And that's, a gift and a skill that I get to carry for the rest of my life. And how it's evolved over time is this has become more of a mindset. How I approach my life is running it softly like a ninja. And, in a previous podcast episode, I was talking to you about how I have this anti-hustle mindset and, sticking my stake in the ground and all of that, and telling you about certain lifestyle changes to support productivity from a relaxed state. But this is a little bit different, because if we're working soft instead of working hard, if we're working soft instead of working hard, that means there's a higher level of presence and mindfulness. The same way that if you were to go out for your morning run today, or whenever you're deciding to go for a run, if you decided, all right, I'm going to run softly. Now, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? When I shifted from just trying to run and not having a very positive experience of it because of my body, right? When I shifted from that to enjoying running, finally, when I shifted to running softly, what I noticed, and this might help somebody, was that when I was just running willy-nilly or trying to, I was more focused on how I looked and where I was going. I was much more focused externally, or as one of my clients who's a doctor of osteopathy, he says I was externally referenced. That's his phrase, right? Hi, Mark, if you're listening in. So when I would run, I would be externally referenced. I would be focused on everything except for how I felt in my body. And I would only connect to how I felt more as like an after effect from having tried to run. And back then, the after effect was super negative. Like, I hated how I felt. It was like, oh, this is so painful and itchy. And, you know, when you have urticaria, you're trying to scratch something that is underneath your skin. You can't, all you can do is just sit and wait for the pain to pass. By the way, if any of you have it or listening in, I'm sending you a big hug in the energy. There are other things that helped me with my urticaria. If you're curious about that, reach out. I'll be happy to share that with you. Some dietary things that had to change. But when I started running softly, or attempting to, right, and making the transition from running willy-nilly to running softly, or having that economy of motion, running like a ninja, I noticed that immediately my focus became internal. I was so in my body of like, okay, how are my feet connecting to the ground right now? What are my hips and thighs doing? Or how am I breathing? What do I sound like as opposed to what do I look like? Right? How does this feel? Do I feel like I'm running loud right now and just like kind of slapping around on the ground here? Or am I really in this ninja vibe right now as I'm running? And I had to bring my awareness from outside of my body to inside of my body. Or as Mark would say, I would be internally referenced, right? As according to what I'm basing my actions upon. It was the internal reference of how I felt. And for anybody who's worked with me for any amount of time or seen any of my videos or anything, you know the one thing that I say on repeat 24/7 is what matters most is how I feel. What matters most is how I feel, because the more that you can connect to a positive feeling, the more you are in a peak state for peak performance, the more that you are in tune with higher vibrations, right, and in alignment with whatever your higher calling is. It increases your ability to manifest as long as you're aware of how you feel and how you are feeling, meaning the method in which you are generating feeling for yourself. Right? What matters most is how you feel. So this mindset shift to working softly instead of working hard, like I'm going to push myself extra hard to run hard. I'm going to push through and, forget if it hurts and all of this stuff is happening in my body. Screw my body. Running has nothing to do with my body. I'm laughing at this now, but this is really what I thought back then, before I had this mindset shift. To now, I'm working softly. I'm running more like a ninja. How the incredible supercomputer of my body, this incredible spiritual machine that I'm using to move through time and space with, everything about this matters. Everything about my body matters at the utmost. I've got to make sure that it's running lean and clean. And so then eventually, this mindset trickled into my business of how can I work soft and run this business like a ninja? How can I have an economy of motion professionally? right? What are the things that take the least amount of effort and have the maximum amount of impact for me when I do them? How can I focus on that? Or what are the resources that I have going that I'm not utilizing, that if I were to really optimize my usage of them, I'd be able to really supercharge my productivity or increase my results? That's working softly. Working hard would be just like we said in the last podcast episode, just slap another coaching program on it, or slap another course, a do-it-yourself course or home study course on it. Just working hard or trying to push through and be like, yeah, I'm going to push myself as hard as possible, but not being mindful of how I am working, right? And that's this concept of working soft and running it like a ninja. How can we, as conscious entrepreneurs, right, as people who are on a path to increasing mindfulness, right, in our mind, body, and business, how can we have greater and greater efficiency and elegance in the way that we are living our lives and running our businesses? So I'm going to leave off there with that visionary question, and I hope this serves you. If it has, if there was a nugget that dropped in for you from this podcast episode in particular, please go ahead. If you haven't yet given us a 5-star review, join the club. They're rolling in. And in the comments section, leave the one thing that stuck out the most to you. And by the way, hit that share button. Is there somebody that you know and love who is grinding and working ridiculously hard, and you wish that they had more of a business lifestyle that had a sense of elegance, right? Do they need to run it like a ninja? Do they need to work more soft, right? This is an increase in strength and mindfulness, working softly, okay? And that's it for this podcast episode. I'm sending you so much love. Heading over now to the next meditation retreat that I'm going to be hosting for entrepreneurs up at the Rookwood. If you want to be there, be in the room, go ahead to victoriawhitfield.com and click on the retreats button, and we'll see you there. Hopefully we'll be able to have a spot left for you. Otherwise, we'll see you at the next one. All right. Bye for now.